All right, I just told you my Super Bowl 60 pick. I texted you in advance of this and asked you for two Super Bowl picks, the first of which is the one that you think is actually going to happen. And to make it a little bit more fun, since I know you're a big Pavement fan, do you remember who you told me? I don't know if it's something that bounces around in your head.
You
and
asked
you
me
give different
actually
answers.
and most fun. I
Right.
remember. Yeah.
Okay, what was your actual Super Bowl 60 matchup?
I believe I went with the two best teams in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, let's
Bird
see
battle.
it represented as a Pavement album. Here we go. There it is,
beautiful.
Slanted and Enchanted, the first one
Wow.
up there. I have to say, I like this exercise. And by the way, the Czech Republic is strong. Thanks to our pal Los for sending that one over to us. We welcome, encourage all listeners, football Americans, to join the conversation. Okay, so justify that. The Ravens, you just said it. Now justify it a little bit.
Sure.
We know why you say the Eagles, obviously. Yeah. But talk about the Ravens in a conference that still includes the Chiefs and the
Ravens are
Bills and
stacked. Okay, so if you're looking at the top of the AFC and you have, I think correctly, the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens, right? Bengals are kind of outside of that because of their defense. In my mind, the Ravens clearly have the best defense of the bunch. I think they have a top 3-4 defense that was really repaired. They really fixed things in the second half of last season. I think they're going to be even better this year.
It's wild that just mid-season they were being had, and I was saying halfway through the season last year, are you guys watching the games though? I know Lamar Jackson's super fun and everything, but they can't stop anybody when they have to stop somebody. Then suddenly they moved Kyle Hamilton and they were a completely different team. Now they doubled down at the safety spot.
Added a Jair Alexander. We'll see how much he plays. But yeah, I'm pretty high on that Ravens defense, Ravens offense. Listen, we could talk about, the postseason and some of the foibles and the execution errors that they seem to have.
We should talk about the postseason, Mina. I know you don't like a quarterback wins in the postseason as something that matters, but it matters. Me and Nick Wright agree.
They're the best team. I really believe that they're the best team in the AFC. The offense is basically the same.
Yeah.
I think the play callers are so good. Todd Monken, to me, is like one of the great NFL stories. So the thing about the postseason is you can't. Once we get there, we can say who's injured, what are the matchups like, etc. But this time of year, all you could really do is just try to pick the two best teams, and I really believe those are the two best teams in football.
I think the Bills and the Ravens, and to probably a large extent the Chiefs, are all in this weird 4-month pregnancy where obviously they can't just fall on their faces, but assuming that they get to the postseason, that's all we're waiting for any of those three teams. And it's a weird state to assume as a fan of those teams. It surely has got to be weird for the QBs. Josh Allen said it on Hard Knocks and elsewhere. What matters at this point, except how he plays in those very limited sample sizes? That's the drama. Don't you see? That's why it's great. That's what makes it the most fun. It all is leading to this postseason. I don't want to get caught up in that. Let's move on to your heart pick, aka the one that you think would provide the most narratives for us to buzz about for a fortnight long, the most fun, the one that most of America would be the most excited to watch.
I went with Bills Lions for the heart pick. There's obvious reasons, right? Tortured fan bases to different degrees, teams that have come so close in recent years, knocking on the door, teams that are right there at the top of their respective conferences. I think the Lions are kind of still America's sweethearts, but there is a bit of an expiration date on that, right? Like you can only kind of get so close for so long. So I feel like this year, if they were able to get over the hump, it would just be an amazing story and people would really rally behind them.
A lot of teams out there are trying to, in the copycat league, adopt that Eagles model. And the Lions are really, in a lot of ways, similar, a couple of years behind that, physical, built at the line of scrimmage and all of that, and beat the hell out of their foes. I refer you to what happened to the Eagles in the in-between Super Bowl years there. Yeah. The loss of those two coordinators, it wasn't day one that it happened. It was slow. It was a slow-moving wreck for that in-between team with the Eagles. I have a hunch that that's what's going to happen to these Lions. How say you?
My feeling is offensively, there is going to be some regression because the combination of losing Ben Johnson and the interior offensive line kind of turning over. But my hope is that that'll be mitigated by better defensive. This is the most injured defense in football last season. I think that they got better. I think they added talent. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson returning is huge, but they also added players in the secondary, first-round draft pick on the defensive line. So I wouldn't be. I actually had this as a top 10 defense when I did my top 10 defenses pod, and so my feeling is if the offense takes a step back, the defense could take a step forward. That kind of nets them out.
Yeah, I hear you. I am concerned also about a team that's built on beating the hell out of their foes, losing what they've lost on the offensive line too. Hey, by the way, everybody would say about a Bills-Lions Super Bowl, what would they say? They'd say "Wowie zowie," right? Isn't that what they would say? Everybody, let's see it. There we go. See, Dan Campbell, Josh Allen.
Oh,
in
wow.
the Super Bowl.
Look at that. I could never.
But, I think you could. You could do it on an Etch-a-Sketch, as a matter of fact. I'll throw one more at you. Let's go brighten the corners here with Dave's optimistic pick. And I know what you're going to say when you see it. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't say that as a Steelers fan. I say that what would be more fascinating, what would be more compelling to buzz about for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Than Jordan Love and company, Gutekunst and everybody like, oh, Aaron. I see more people that people did end up coming to Green Bay even after you left, despite your proclamations that no one wanted to come here without you being here. I think that's fun. Let's see that one real quick. There it is.
Wow, look at that. This is an amazing storyline. I agree. I'm pretty dubious of it. But let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So the Steelers don't have the Packers during the season, right?
They do. In Lambeau. In Lambeau, no less.
Who are you going to pick?
How about
right
this?
Now?
Before that happens, the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1 play Justin Fields and the Jets in New York. The big question is Aaron going to run out there with the U.S. flag again?